how to deal with inflation. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investing with Antoinette. You can easily call me Tony. In today's video, we'll talk about the inflation that may be coming up in the way to mitigate its consequences. Before we begin, I just want to give everyone a quick reminder to like, share and comment on the video to help this channel grow. I really appreciate it. Inflation has been a major talking point in the investing community as of late. Between the shaky economy, all the big names pulling out of major positions, and people like Ray Dalio and Charlie Munger openly warning everyone about inflation, I believe that it's finally time for a video on that subject. Now, of course, inflation is always present. Year after year, purchasing power goes down and prices go up. It is just not major. Prices go up in a small enough increments that you would need to look at a historical chart to really notice it, especially if you are not worried about day-to-day expenses. Usually, the inflation rate hovers around 2%. We haven't had to worry about big inflation for a very long time, and I'm willing to bet that most of you who are watching this video right now weren't around the last time this happened. However, we've got a lot of statistics that point to inflation possibly becoming a major problem in the not so distant future. Or, as Ray Dalio puts it, when the economy is rebounding, inflation pressures are rebuilding. So, it is time to panic? Of course not, because there is the thing about inflation. It is just a situation like any other. Of course, it is not optimal. It is challenging to deal with. It is going to make a lot of people lose a lot of money. But like with any other situation, smart planning can allow you to come out largely unscathed, or in some cases even profit from it, as long as you know how to prepare. You need to understand the causes, keep an eye out for the warning signals, know how to prepare. Aging population. First of all, there is the aging population issue. Basically, there are fewer working age people compared to retired people. The fewer working age young people there are, the lower the supply of goods, meaning that businesses can produce less. The price for labor goes up. Businesses who hire this labor are going to price their products and services depending on the cost of labor. So, goods and services go up in price, and so we've got inflation. Fewer working age people, lower production, price of labor goes up, price of products and services goes up. In the 1970s, the US had more than twice the amount of young people compared to retired people. Today, both categories are nearly the same. The UK is faced with similar situation. Back in 1970, there were more young people than retired people, and in 2019, the situation was reversed. Today, there are more retired people in the UK than there are young people. But that is not exactly a new issue. People who keep a close eye on statistics have been talking about this for many years now. However, when you add this to all of the recent events, this is starting to look worrisome. The consequences of free money. Okay, now let's take a quick glance at what has been happening with the economy lately. We had a major health crisis. Businesses shut down. People need money. The government had to react. The Fed provided the necessary money and the government gave it away. And I'm not just talking about individuals in unfortunate financial situation, of course. If it was just that, the economy wasn't going to get hit nearly as hard. But businesses also struggle with money during the crisis. And big businesses need big money. I'm talking about trillions of dollars that went to companies struggling with loans and emergencies. And how did the US government and UK government get a hold of all this money? The Fed pulled it out of thin air, that is how. They just printed out a bunch of free money and shoved it right into the economy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that it didn't punch up in the immediate situation, because it did, but punching up and band-aids can only work for so long. They didn't really solve the problems, they just put them off for a bit. Printing trillions of dollars has consequences. It causes inflation. Here's how. People get free money. They want to buy stuff. Demand goes up. The more stuff they buy, prices go up. All the while, the value of the dollars goes down. Or as Charlie Munger says, at the end, if you print out too much money, you end up with something like Venezuela. And yes, I know that if you look at it from an individual's point of view, free money isn't exactly bad, but the bigger picture says otherwise. Injecting money into the economy like that only ends up hurting everyone in the long run. It is not the natural way for this to happen. And we talked about this in a recent video, and I'll leave the link down in the description for those of you who missed it. And the solutions. The last time people saw high inflation was in the 80s, so naturally most people in the stock market today don't know how to invest during a period of high inflation. The dollar goes down in value, bonds get destroyed, a lot of stock get destroyed, most assets classes get hurt badly. So, how can investors go through a high inflation period without losing too much money? Or can they even profit from it? The obvious situation is, the first and most obvious solution is something that we've all heard of before. Yep, I'm talking about good old gold. Gold is a very solid asset class as long as you manage to buy before the prices go sky high, because believe me, it will. Even if inflation does not reach the levels that the experts are worried about, a lot of people are going to try turning their cash and other assets into gold. Here's why. When there is a big inflation on the horizon, investors hate the idea of holding onto cash. So what is an asset class that has limited supply, holds its value and cannot be weighted down? Gold. And history shows us just how true that is. Every time there is a big inflation, investors flock to gold and its price skyrocket. For the 1970 and 1980 period, the last big inflation, gold went up from $250 to more than $2,000. What about the real estate? Real estate is another very most popular way for smart investors to profit from inflation. Even people who usually don't care about investing outside of these types of scenarios are going to gravitate towards the real estate market as soon as they catch on to what is going on. Here's why. Inflation eats into debt. Property values go up. Rental payments go up. And let me explain. For many investors, one of the safest options would be real estate. Now, real estate is obviously pricey, so they are going to go into debt. However, debt is not nearly as bad during high inflation that it is normally, because when inflation eats away at the value of the dollar, it also eats away at the debt. For many, that is a big upside of going heavily into real estate, since they can use debt to purchase assets and then leverage the inflation to eat away a portion of their debt. Then there is also the part where inflation makes everything go up in price, including real estate. So the price of the assets acquired with the debt that is getting decreased by inflation would go up. Finally, rental income will also increase with inflation since rent goes up. For those who do not have enough resources to directly purchase real estate and would rather not go heavy into debt, real estate investment trusts are always an option. And what do real estate investment trusts do? Well, they invest in real estate. They are much easier to get into and can still bring in a lot of solid profit, all the while protect your wealth during periods of high inflation. And of course, this will also take off along with gold. What about stocks? As I mentioned it above, most companies and their stocks are going to take a big hit. The stock market as a whole will take a big hit. Luckily, most companies doesn't mean all companies. Some businesses can survive and even thrive during hyperinflation. Warren Buffett has talked a lot about stocks and high inflation in the past. During periods of high inflation, smart investors focus on the companies that have the ability to increase prices easily along with inflation, generate cash rather than consume it, accommodate large dollar volume increases in businesses with only minor additional investments of capital. Coca-Cola is an example of one such stock. They are a well-established business that can afford to increase their prices as inflation goes up, and they generate a solid cash flow. Have you thought about cryptocurrencies? Now, crypto hasn't had the chance to prove itself historically, like gold and real estate have, but there is a lot of promise here because inflation devalues currency by watering it down, and the Fed printing free money. Crypto, and specifically Bitcoin, on the other hand, has the added benefit of limited supply, which make it immune to watering down. A lot of experts speculate that Bitcoin could take off in a big way if we really hit hyperinflation. In closing, thanks to all of the historical data that we've got available and of course the internet, there is a good chance that many smart investors will come out of the next big inflation period very wealthy. Or, in the words of Michael Burry, history is not useless. Just like to remind you that I didn't make this video to scare people or to convince them to invest in a specific asset class. I'm just sharing things that I personally find very interesting and potentially very helpful in the long run. I hope that you liked this video and you found it useful. And if you did, please don't forget to let me know by giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, stay very, very motivated.